Hello, everybody. How is this crowd doing? Pretty good? Yeah? Enjoying the show? Nice, guys. How many shop owners we got here? We got a handful. All right. I'll be surveying you guys throughout because we're going to be talking about digital marketing for your truck repair shop. So first off, the most important thing is introducing myself. So my name is Nick Adams. I am the founder and managing director of Dieselmatic. And Dieselmatic is a commercial truck repair marketing solution. And we work with shops all throughout Canada and the US. So I started Dieselmatic because I started working with a shop who was doing around $500,000 a year in revenue. And after about a year and a half of working together, I found that I was able to get them to about $2 million, just under $2 million a year. It was really cool because I saw that it affected his life and his family. He got to move to a new house, and I really connected with that. So I started Dieselmatic, and we started helping shops all across Canada and the US. And just a little under 2 years after that, we joined forces with Fullbay. And together, we now help thousands of repair shops across Canada and the US grow their business by bringing in new customers and then execute on that work with repair shop management software. So today, I will give a little bit of a disclaimer that marketing for a shop is some mix of an art and science. The stuff that we'll talk about, I love that we have some shop owners because you guys will probably have some thoughts and ideas of what's worked for you. And we'll have a question and answer period at the end. I'd love for you to share some of your thoughts on what's worked as well. It's something that's always evolving and learning. But the things that we talk about will be stuff that we've learned from helping hundreds of repair shops grow through specific strategies. If you want to take any of these strategies and turn them into a real marketing plan, please consult with a professional first. We're happy to help. So we're going to start with why. So the argument of whether or not you actually need a marketing plan and maybe convince you that it is good to have one. Then we'll go into what. So what are the actual essential things that we've found with hundreds of repair shops that are essential to the growth and foundation of the business. And then lastly, the thing that we all care about the most. Well, maybe not the most, but money. Marketing is an investment. It is not a cost. If you are not making money on your investment, you should not be continuing to fund that investment. So we'll talk about some ways that you can actually strategically ensure that you're getting a return on that investment. So kicking it off, why does your shop need a marketing plan? One of the biggest aspects of building a business is having a vision. If you're just going day to day and trying to get the next customer and fix the next truck and working in your business, you're not going to be able to grow your business and work on it. Marketing, in essence, the most top funnel metric that you can really use is awareness. So when we're talking about your business, your truck repair shop, you need to make sure that your customer base knows you exist. Because if they don't, they can't become your customer. So this is some data, and I love data, from a survey called the State of Heavy Duty Repair that Fullbay does every year. If you haven't checked it out, it's a great resource with a ton of other information. But this is some information on what shops are using mostly to make their audience aware of the fact that they exist. Who are they? What do they do? So the majority of people are using Facebook. For the shop owners in the crowd, are you using Facebook? Yeah? Some? How about Google and like Google Ads? You guys, yeah? So these sources, I was really surprised to see 21% for Google Ads. It's a really effective source. So Facebook is something that is really good at building awareness of your brand to your customers. Google is something that is really good at capturing the customer at the specific time that they're looking for a service need. So we'll talk a little bit about how you can mix that into your marketing plan. But these are some really interesting stats that we'll talk a little bit more about throughout the presentation. So differentiating your shop is incredibly important. I'm sure everyone here who has a shop has a competitor in the area that's going to provide similar services. What is the difference between you and them? Why, as a customer, do I choose to come to your shop versus another shop? These are questions that you should be asking yourself when you're starting a business, and what you should be articulating to your customers. You don't want to do things like just beat the competition on price, because it's going to affect your profit margin, your ability to pay employees well. You want to make sure that you are priced fairly and do good work. Word of mouth is a metric that really just shows that you are doing good work. I love word of mouth as a marketing source. I don't think you'll hear a lot of marketing experts say that, but really what it says to me when people say, we've grown solely on word of mouth, is that you do good work and you stand by your work. You treat customers well. But not having any other way of engaging your customers, selling them additional services, doesn't really give you the ability to continue to grow your business. So one of my favorite quotes and ideas is that in business, you're either growing or you're dying. It is a little polarizing because it's tough if you don't have a year that's a year-over-year improvement. But the idea, again, it goes back to that vision. What do you want your business to be in 3 or 5 years? Do you have goals of how much revenue you want, how big you want your shop size to be, how many customers you want to serve, how much you're going to spend on marketing to get there? These things are all really important questions to ask yourself in order to make sure that you're heading towards a goal. We all know that there are tons of economic factors that come into play with a shop. You'll have up periods and down periods. Having a marketing plan gives you the confidence to be able to ride out periods that are slower, understand when it's going to be busier as well, and not panic if you have a lower month, and be able to invest the resources in the right place. Some other really important pieces are that we all want more fleet customers, right? Fleets really want a tech-savvy repair shop. They're not going to go to some shop that doesn't have any online presence, that they don't feel like we'll be able to give them PM service reminders, be able to keep their equipment in top condition. And the things that they look at are really small psychological pieces when they're making that decision. What does your website look like? Does it look like it was built in 1995, or does it look like it was built in this decade? These are things that will infer to them whether or not it's a good business relationship. Having this plan in place is really important for the long run. So again, we want to think about long-term vision, 3 to 5 years of where you want your business to be. So another really important piece of the why to have a marketing plan for your shop is lifetime value of customers. So how many customers do you have that you think, that you're confident that you know have a clear understanding of all of the services you offer? Is there opportunity to sell to them more services? And are you actively engaging them in that and telling them about your wheel alignment services or PM services? It can leave a lot of meat on the bone if you're not actively reminding customers that these are things that you do. Additionally, we all like growth and expansion. Out of the shop owners here, are you single location, multi-location? Just one? You want another one? Yeah? When you get another one, when you get another location, you want a way to be able to tell all of your customers that you have now expanded into this new area. Having a marketing plan, having a way to talk to all of those customers and get new customers in that new area is a really vital part of ensuring that you're going to be successful with that new location. And the last piece of the why is really centered around hiring. We are running people businesses. In order to hire people who are going to do good work, good techs that want to come and work for you, you need to be able to communicate to them early on in the hiring process that you're someone who is going to pay their paycheck on time, that gets work done, that has a good operation, that gives them room for growth and improvement over time. If you're able to articulate that to the outer world and show them that, hey, we've got a very clearly put together website with a marketing strategy. We have a careers page and we post when we want a new technician. We clearly outline all of the things that our shop offers as benefits to employees. These are things that especially Gen Z and millennials are going to look for when they're looking for work. And there's some really interesting stats too that we don't have in here in the Full Bay State of Heavy Duty report that talk about how often shops repair service workers in general move repair shops. So some homework to dig into. So this is a pretty clear example. Who would you rather work for? A shop who is unreachable online and doesn't have any kind of online presence, or a shop who is polished, put together, and likely infers that they're going to have a good business and a good model once you actually get in the door. So we've gone through the why of why you should have a marketing plan, why it's important, why you should have growth and focus on the future. Now we'll talk about some actual pieces of the marketing strategy that we think are essential. So hundreds of repair shops we've tested these on, and these are the things that we really pulled out, I think are the key elements to ensuring that you have a good marketing foundation for your shop. So the three things are a Google business profile, a modern mobile-friendly website, because most of your customers, especially if you're doing breakdown services or any kind of emergency repair, they're going to be looking for you on their phone, and an optimized and well-managed digital ad campaign. So we'll talk through what each of those things are and kind of how you can implement them yourself. And I won't skip yet because we're taking a picture. You got it? Yeah, cool. Cool, so of the shop owners, how many people have a Google business profile? We got it, cool. How many people have gone through their Google business profile and added every service that you provide to the list within the profile? maybe, oh yeah, we got one. She's got her eyebrows raised like, yeah. When you're thinking about how to utilize Google properly, their main goal is just to connect their customers with the right information. So the more information that you can provide in your Google business profile, the more likely they are to say, hey, this person searched for truck repair shops near me, and this profile clearly articulates that they provide all the services that this person is looking for. Really easy things. You can walk around your shop, snap some photos, do things like put the entrance as the main photo. Again, these are little tiny micro signals that build trust with a customer, because a lot of us are in industrial areas that are a little bit confusing. It's really nice to build that trust and awareness to be able to show right there when they're looking, oh, there's the entrance. I don't have to be worried about finding where I'm going when I actually get there. Review solicitation is also a very, very big part. So again, shops who have great word of mouth, get those people to leave a review online. It can really help with building trust in your local market. And there are some really, really cool ways that you can do that through QR codes, and any marketing agency will be able to help solicit those reviews. They should be able to help. And so the importance of a website. So we talked a lot about awareness and why it is important to make sure that as much of your potential customer base as possible has a awareness that you exist. Once they have that awareness, the people will, any customer will likely do some things when they're looking for service. They will search for a repair shop, and if they've seen you before, it builds that little bit of trust. When they come to your website, they may or may not be ready for making a service decision. And if they are not, it gives you the ability to then retarget to them. So you can show them ads for your shop when they come back and search again and look for services and are ready to make that service decision. There's, again, some really interesting data within the State of Heavy Duty Repair report that shows that shops who have a website, so we just surveyed people on whether or not they have a website, and then independently we surveyed them on year-over-year growth, and we found that there's a correlation between shops who had year-over-year growth and shops who had a website. Again, small pieces of ensuring that every part of your business is functioning as it should be, right? In the same way that you ensure that your internal repairs are happening the way they should be, it's the same piece of your marketing strategy and puzzle. So digital advertising is probably the biggest driver of short-term growth that we see within repair shops. So put some numbers on the side here. I think we had one back there that's running Google Ads, a couple more maybe, I think over there. I wanted to show some industry averages of what it looks like to obtain a new customer. So how much does it actually cost to get a new customer? So across the industry, what we see are some pretty cool averages. So a $4.50 cost per click. How are we on cost per click? Do we, show of hands, how many people know what a cost per click means? We got one Gen Z back here. So the cost per click is how much it costs when you run a Google Ads campaign every time somebody clicks on your ad. Then the cost per conversion is how many of those clicks turn into a lead. So someone who called your shop or sent an email. And so those leads, on average, cost about $35. And so it's really, really important when you're scaling a marketing strategy within your shop to ensure that every lead that comes in, that anyone who is answering the phone has a very, very clear understanding of the services that you offer and how to sell a customer and get them into the shop, because you are spending money on the awareness of that person and ensuring that you can bring that person into your shop. And if you don't, if you're 50% conversion rate for those leads, every new customer now costs $70. And so the other metrics that I think are really important here that you can look at and dig into if you are running a Google Ads campaign or if you want to start one yourself, is that the industry average conversion rate within a campaign is about 4 to 5%. So you can do some really, really cool things if you start to manage it really, really effectively with some very niche details and, I'll be honest, very nerdy stuff. And get your conversion rate, again, up to 8, 9, 10%, which is what we typically see when us nerds take over. One note that we don't have on here that I want to make sure we say, people who have advertised, have you used billboards before? We got a nod. Have you used a tracking number for that billboard? If you do ever use billboards for advertising, don't put your shop number on it, put a tracking number. And we'll talk a little bit more about why tracking numbers are effective, but what it can essentially show you is how many people actually saw that billboard and called based on that interaction. So you know that you actually got some return from that investment, which I was a little bit fast on talking about, but how to track your marketing success. So we went over the why, of why it's important to have a marketing plan. We went over the what are the pieces, kind of the essential pieces that you need to do. Lastly, let's make some money. We don't want to spend money on marketing and come out in a negative ROI. So how do we actually figure out if we're making money on our marketing? So we surveyed shops and asked them what metrics they're using to measure the success of their marketing campaigns. We found that ROI was one of the top metrics. Looking at website traffic is kind of a lagging metric, as well as ad spend and performance in search engines. So I'll explain a little bit of what these things are, because again, they're very technical. But looking at your ad spend is just how much are you spending on paid media each month. So a typical ad spend, if you go back to what we were talking about with a cost per conversion, if you have a cost per conversion of $35 and you want 100 leads in a month, you have to spend $3,500. So that gives you some foundational pieces of how to build that little budget, and we'll talk a little bit more about budget near the end as well. So the famous quote by John Wanamaker, half the money I spend on marketing and advertising is wasted. The trouble is, I don't know which half. This is very true for the bygone era of print, billboard, radio, TV, advertising for local small businesses. The reason it is bygone is because we can track a lot of this information now. And you don't have to just throw money into marketing and wonder if it's coming back. So what we'll do is talk a little bit about tracking offline sales. I'll talk a little bit about the difference between online sales and offline sales, and then look at some of the data and make sure that we have an understanding of where your revenue is coming from so that you can reinvest your revenue into the right place. So, offline sales. Do we have an understanding of what offline sales are? So I'll contrast it by saying that online sales, we're all familiar with, is e-commerce. This is really easy to track because when you have a transaction that is marketed and occurs completely within one space on a computer, it's very easy to track all of that information and tie that final dollar value amount back to the marketing source that it came from, right? So the path might be, she's on her computer over here, she looks at an ad for a new shirt, she likes the shirt, she goes to the website, she buys the shirt. That company can see exactly where you bought that shirt from. And they know that this marketing campaign was effective because we sold her a, $40 shirt, maybe, 50, something like that, and made some money. And so now they can reinvest that money back in. The problem that we have in our industry is that our sales are happening in a disconnected place from the marketing that we're doing. Customers are coming into the shop, they're paying their invoice, and that system is not communicating with the marketing system that you have, if you have it. So the outcome of that is that if you're not tracking these things, you feel like your marketing dollars are wasted, and it may take some time to ramp up to that investment coming to fruition where it really starts to be valuable and giving you a strong return, and you might cut it off before then. So, how do we change that? So this is a tale of two shops. So shop A, we run a campaign on Google. It's just got your phone number on it, similar to how we were talking about the billboards. And the customer sees it, they call your shop, they book an appointment, they have service done, they pay their invoice. You have no way of connecting that sale directly to that marketing campaign. You stop running Google ads and sales drop. Shop B has a Google ad campaign with a tracking number on it. The customer, same process, sees the ad, clicks on the phone number, and that tracking number then records their phone number in a database. And then when they come into the shop, they pay their invoice, they give you their phone number when you create a customer profile for them, and then we send that information back to the marketing campaign, and we connect those two phone numbers. And then we can see specifically that that customer who came in and spent $1,400.93 came from this specific Google ad campaign. And of the 5 Google ad campaigns that you're running, that one is now profitable. And you know that maybe we cut the budget from the other 2 and put it into this one that is actually bringing in real paying customers. So I said in the beginning that we'd talk about money a good amount. So this is a fun part and something that I feel is really, really important. One of our account executives, John, is here, and make sure he talks about this all the time on sales calls. How do you build a budget for your marketing? Often when we go into those conversations, the answer is, I don't know. I don't have a budget. So I want to tell you the really, really rough and simple way of doing it. We've talked a lot about plans, having a vision for the future. You should look at your marketing budget as a year to 2 years ahead, where you want to be, where you want your business to get to grow. Whatever that revenue figure is, if you're at $1 million and you want to get to $2 million, use about 3 to 5% of your desired gross annual revenue to build the marketing budget that you're going to start using now. So if that means that you want to get to $2 million, you need to set aside an annual marketing budget between $60,000 and $100,000 a year, about $5,000 to $8,000 a month. The important note there is that you're not going to put that all into one bucket. So you may hire people to run your marketing. You may hire an agency. These are costs that should be considered directly within that marketing spend and budget. You also have ad costs, so networks like Google Ads, any breakdown directories, anything that charges you to show your shop to customers, you want to include that within your marketing budget as well. Of the shops here, how does that 3 to 5% of annual desired revenue fit with your current marketing spend? Is it like way above, way below, way above, way above? It's a really, really, really tough part of the business because it requires you to truly invest into the future and growth of your business. And I'll be honest with you, I took that step too. When Dieselmatic was small and just starting out, for me, that meant spending $1,000 a month on advertising was $1,000 a month that was coming out of my pocket. And I want to make sure when I do that I get a return for that money. And luckily for me, I'm a nerd. So I know how to track all of that and make sure that I actually am getting a return. And so what I really wanted to do with Dieselmatic was give shop owners a way to do that themselves, so that they didn't have to be the nerd. They can rely on the nerds to ensure that the shop's growing and the money that's coming out of your pocket is actually going to come back in revenue in the future. So we wanted to include a case study because, again, I don't want this to be a whole pitch for Dieselmatic, and hopefully giving you some valuable insight into what you can do to help grow your shop. But this is a case study from a shop that we've worked with over a course of 9 months. So their return on investment from this, if we're breaking it down, the fee that they paid, $2,500 a month, the ad spend of $1,100 a month, the ROI over that 9 months was about $18,000. So that is revenue that we attributed directly from marketing campaigns only. So we have a system and an algorithm that determines that in a platform that shows you that actual return. So the total cost to the shop was about $33,000. That's about the investment that they made. And the revenue from marketing that they got was about $163,000. So again, very important to be able to make money when you're actually spending the money on marketing. The shameless promotion. So Dieselmatic, as I said, is a digital marketing solution specifically for commercial truck repair shops. Of the shops here, how many use Full Bay? 1, 2. So, like I said, Dieselmatic was acquired by Full Bay, and we get the ability to help thousands of repair shops build, grow, operate their businesses more effectively. And the really fun part of that is that we get a very exclusive integration. And so we're able to take the customer data that you generate within Full Bay and bring it into Dieselmatic and report on that revenue and the return on investment. It gives some really, really, really strong results and returns on how we can optimize ad campaigns and ensure that you are continually getting better and better. We're going to open it up to Q&A, and I don't know if the guys in the back in the AV can hear me, but a microphone would be helpful. If not, I'm sure you have loud voices and a bunch of information. Do we have any questions that I can help answer? We got these guys talking about stuff and confused about something, but I'll do this for the Q&A period.
Do you guys have
I love learning about this stuff. I love growing. If you have some thoughts about what we talked about, and you have some things that maybe worked for you that you think are foundational, I would love to hear them. So I'll stand off to the side at the end. Oh, you got a mic. Did we have any questions that anyone? Yeah, we got one. Okay. Thanks.
So with the integration going into Full Bay, do you have integration to other ERP systems?
No, so it's an exclusive integration just with Full Bay. Yeah.
If you don't have your website like through the Dieselmatic Full Bay, like
Yeah.
do you have a separate website? Can you still use the Dieselmatic for the integration, or do you need to? Is it really kind of a package deal?
Yeah, it's kind of a package deal. And really the reason we do that is because, yeah, we want control to be able to really make sure that everything's done properly. So if we use a website that was built by somebody else, it's probably not going to be that great. It might be. I don't want to offend you too much, but we focus a lot on making sure that websites are really optimized for local small businesses, to make sure that they load quickly on phones so that when people are searching for emergency services, that they can find it quickly, that they rank well for keywords. We build specific pages for every single service that you offer, and we link those to the ad campaigns that you run, which then in turn improve your things like your quality score, which mean your cost per click goes down and you spend less money on marketing but make more in revenue. So quite a rabbit hole of technical details, but that's a bit of the reason why we make sure we do that. Yeah. Any other questions? You guys in the back know a lot, I can tell. Thanks, guys.
So I have a question. Do you recommend Google Ads more or Meta Ads? Or does it depend from business to business? And so how do you determine that?
I would probably, for most businesses, depending on really the needs of the specific business, I'd lean more towards Google Ads, specifically because they are a quicker return on the investment. All right, you're getting people who are immediately at the point of service decision. So they are needing work done, whether that be a new fleet service provider, or they're broken down on the side of the road, or their truck is actively broke down and not making them money. Getting into Google Ads is going to give you that quicker return on investment. Yeah, I would put Facebook ads more towards like building your brand and your audience and awareness. Aaron, did you have one?
So I feel like we've cut back on marketing because we can't get to work in a timely fashion because we have a tech shortage problem. Mm-hmm. You briefly talked about hiring, but I don't want to put more money into marketing and then not be able to service those customers, because then it affects your word of mouth.
Yeah.
And so how does this address, I guess, hiring maybe a little bit more in depth than what you briefly touched on?
Yeah, it's a great question. I really believe that much like a marketing plan, and you should always be marketing, you should always be hiring too. Ensuring that you are, beyond your digital marketing, developing relationships with local technical colleges can be really beneficial. But I mean, honestly, the digital part of solving the technician shortage problem is just one of the pieces of the puzzle, right? You want to make sure that you have on your website a careers page, that you're articulating your you're like, we do. It's one piece, and the other pieces, honestly, they're not digital. They're building relationships with other businesses, in your area. They are going out and trying to recruit, getting young talent, having training programs. There are a bunch of pieces to it, but having that, having that foundational piece of ensuring that when someone is looking, they look at you and they know that you are a viable solution for employment. It's tough. I know it's a tough one. Do we have one more? I don't know, Aaron, if somebody over there said. Good. Okay, guys. Well, I've got my 5-minute warning up here. I will, again, stand off to the side. If you want to come talk later, we'll be at the Full Bay and Dieselmatic booth. Thank you very much, everyone. It was a pleasure. Take care.